Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is
Harry!
And we're at the Burlington County Historical Society and
Children's History Center!
And we're on the road again in Burlington County. We're in Woodland Township in the lovely village of Chatsworth. And we have behind us an interesting old inn. It's the White Horse Inn. And look, Harry, I see somebody on the porch. Let's go over there and see what he has to say. Wait a minute, I think I know who this is. This is Stan Thayer.
The legendary Stan Thayer?
Yes, I think the one and only. Stan, how are you doing?
Doing okay. Why don't you come on inside and take a look?
Let's do that and get out of the rain some more. Good. So, Stan, what can you tell us about this place?
Well, it was originally built in the about 1850s, and it was called the Chemung Hotel, and it was used as a stagecoach stop. And then eventually, the railroad came through, and it was used to stop across from the railroad station as an inn. Prince Marco Respoli, who was the Italian attaché to the United States, married the daughter of a man named Beers. Beers was a huge landowner and cranberry grower, and that's kind of how Prince Respoli ended up here. There was a man named Jonathan Godfrey who was an investor from New York, and he was also involved here. Prince Marco Respoli was responsible for the starting of the Chatsworth Club over by the lake, and the inn was used for people coming from New York and other areas. They would come to the train station and then over to the inn, and then eventually be transported out to the club at the lake. There were members of the club that were the Vanderbilts, the Biddles, the Vice President of the United States at the time was a member of the club. It was a very exclusive club with a lot of activities all the time. But in the meantime, the inn was kept very busy with people coming in and out. And that's about it for that period of time. Eventually the Stevenson family took over the ownership of the inn, and the family lived here for quite a while. Mr. Stevenson was the foreman for Jonathan Godfrey's cranberry operations, and several generations had been here and stayed here and lived here, and they were the last owners of the inn.
What is this building used for today?
The building's used today for a community center. They've had weddings in here, funerals, just all kinds of activities. And usually anybody local that needs to use a building requests the use of it, and for no other reason they're allowed to. Usually they make a contribution which helps the upkeep of the building.
Oh, and what is that model train up there?
That's a model of the Blue Comet, and the Blue Comet used to run right next to this building, and they call it the Seashore's Finest Train.
Oh.
And it ran from up in North Jersey all the way down to Atlantic City. And it was a pretty fancy train for its time.
I heard a rumor that my mom told me that was the train from The Sopranos.
Yeah, that model was the same model that was used in The Sopranos. And the sign above it came from the original Chatsworth train station. A man stopped one day and said, "Would you like the sign from the original train station?" naturally everybody said yes, and that's where it is.
Hey, the building looks great, but how come the building on that picture doesn't look so great?
Well, I guess it's almost 30 years ago, the Cranberry Festival started the restoration of the building, and it really got underway probably 25, 27 years ago when Lynn Giamalis and the Cranberry Festival Committee started making the money and investing the time and labor to put it all back together. The building probably would have fallen down if they hadn't started that work. So it's really the Cranberry Festival Committee that saved the building.
Well, when I discovered Chatsworth for myself about 1980 or so, I saw that building and I really didn't think it would last another year or so, you know. So I'm glad something was done about it.
Well, the last resident was a fellow they called Junior Stevenson, and he was quite a character. He lived in the building, and the building, you can see from the picture, is in bad shape. But Junior used to sit out front in his pickup truck and stop and talk to everybody that came by. He was a character.
Well, we're very happy to have talked to this particular character, which is Stan Fair. And Harry, you have anything else to say?
No, actually I do not.
Well, then, I guess what we'll have to do is sign off for another episode of On the Road in Burlington County. Thanks, Stan, and thanks, Harry.